First video.
What's in your wallet right now?
I'd say about probably $400 or $500.
That's Warren Buffett.
$400 or $500
Something like that,
in
yeah.
cash.
Yeah.
Is that
Only
what you're always
500?
carrying?
He's broke.
I generally carry something like that.
In
yeah.
20s or 50s or hundreds?
Well, I've got a few hundred.
I want to
It's quite
see.
curious.
You want to
Let's
see?
see.
Okay,
Yes,
sure.
I do.
Yeah, well, most women do.
You're not allowed to say stuff like that anymore. You can't say most women do. I mean, I'm sure from his experience, a lot of people have chased him over the wrong stuff. He's a billionaire, right? One of the most richest people ever. So the comment is funny because it's so, you know what? I won't comment on the comment.
Couple ones to fives.
This is-
You're ready to tip and you're ready to dine out
sure.
and have a big night out on the
This-
town
yeah,
tonight.
this is pretty standard.
I mean, what can we take away from this, I don't know, short video? I think while she's surprised that he doesn't carry that much cash, it doesn't make sense, right? To have cash really most of the time because your money is losing value over time, right? Due to inflation. What you want to do is to be investing in risky assets that will enable you to generate a return that can beat inflation. That's what you care about ultimately. So for example, inflation is around 2%. It's not, it's higher, but let's say it's 2%. You generate 6% on your investments. Your real rate of return is 4% because you have to adjust it for inflation. Due to inflation, if money is stuck under your mattress, it will lose its value over time. Let's go to the next video. Let's see.
What can the average person do to invest reasonably well?
I didn't have any money, and I remember the cycle. And what
That's Ray Dalio. He's the owner of Bridgewater Associates, which is a very big hedge fund.
it was is I would start to think, how many weeks, months, and then years can I take care of myself and my family? And I would calculate that. I would be at, okay, 52 years, if no income was going to come in. And then if I'm holding a portfolio in something, maybe I could lose half, so I better cut that number in half. And then I start to think of what are my uses of the money? What do I need to do? And I would think about how do I immunize that? And you start and you build like that, and you know how to save. And saving, you know things like don't put it into cash deposits that get eroded by inflation and
Agree.
taxes and so
Literally
on.
what I just
And you
said.
start to develop it.
What can the
I like his advice. It sounds a bit convoluted because really smart people sometimes are really bad at explaining themselves. But basically what he's saying is, I like what I've always said, you want to look at your money in more or less 3 accounts: current account, emergency, and investment. Your current account is where you get paid your salary, where you pay your bills, that's fine. But also you need a rainy day account, your emergency account. In the event that you lose a job, in the event that for whatever reason you can't work, you want to have at least, in my mind, I want to have at least 6 months of my fixed expenses saved in that account. So for example, fixed expenses would be rent, food, light bill. You still want to be able to live with the money in that account. You want to have that as well. You also want to have your investment account. Like I said before, the returns you would get from a savings account or a current account will not beat inflation. That means your money is losing its value over time. So you want to have an investment account. So in practice, what does that look like? Each one, for example, on a 28, you get paid, for example, let's say £2,000. You pay off your fixed expenses. Let's say there's around 1k pounds. You're left with 1k. What should you do with that 1k? You invest at least 50% of that. Let's say you invest £500 in your investment account. So now that's taken care of. Your emergency account, you invest maybe 20%, 10%. You put away £100. Now you're left with what? £400. Maybe add a bit more to investment or pay off some of your debt. In doing this, you start to build different accounts that matter. You want to maximize your investment account and your emergency savings. The savings might take you longer because you can only invest a certain amount each time, but that should be the goal.
You had to start from zero, and you had 1 year to make $1 million.
I hate
and your
videos like
life
this.
depended on it. What would you do?
The time frame makes it hard, but I say the only way you could really do that is to trade, to day trade.
Day trade.
I think
What? That is the worst advice. Day trade? Come on. Maybe he's joking. Let's hope. I hope he's joking. Let's see.
I think you could day trade. And the algorithm I would probably use, because the computers are so fast, I would wait till someone misses their numbers, let the computers drive it down, then I would buy like crazy at the bottom because you know the computer's overreacted, and then
This is the worst advice ever. Like, he's basically saying day trade. And how do you day trade? You buy at the bottom. When do you know when the bottom is? You don't know. You can't predict that. You might think it's 20 USD and it keeps on going down and it goes all the way down to 5 USD. You don't know. Again, we all know that most day traders don't make any effing money. Most day traders lose money. Number two, how do you get the effing capital to day trade with? Because most times, day traders have substantial amount of capital, so they're able to make a lot of risky bets. Also, a lot of them are leveraged. So to me, it's very simple. Most people cannot day trade. Most people cannot beat the market. And when I say most people, I mean 99% of people. Except you're an ex-trader at an investment bank, a broker, a hedge fund. If that's not you, please do not try and day trade. There's a quote by John C. Bogle. The number one way to earn your fair share of returns in the stock market is to invest in a global index fund and hold that till forever. That is advice from John C. Bogle.
What are some of the easier expenses that someone should cut?
It's going to depend on the family, but some of the biggest money wasters, as an example, is eating out, buying food, or buying ready-made food, for sure. These are just absolute money wasters. Clothing, huge money waster. People go into clothing stores and they spend money that they don't have on clothing that their kids are going to outgrow. It's, again, this comes back to peer pressure, but when you look at the categories of what we call non-discretionary spending, even though the guy says, I'm burnt out, I need to go, it's discretionary.
Right.
We all know that. There are many, many people who never take vacation. Workaholics never take vacation, and somehow they're fine, right?
You know what?
You look at non-discretionary spending, you look at the categories, and you see, how much am I spending on these non-discretionary categories?
What he actually said is very real in the sense that the people that work the most actually take the least vacation and actually don't want to take a lot of vacation. Even me myself, I'm very fine with 3 days away, 4 days away. When it gets to 2 weeks, it doesn't really matter where I am. I could be in Dubai, Greece. I'm kind of like, maybe it's time to come back. If you're finding that at the end of the month, you can't invest fuck all, you need to look at your cost and try and cut out on the BS. Why do you keep on buying the same clothes that look the same? Especially if you're a guy, why do you want new clothes if you can't afford it? Like, what's the point? Do you think you buying this new stuff will make the girls like you better? I promise you, the girls will like you if they like you. We all know that guy that cannot dress but is 6 foot. He got the girls. So don't think you need to spend anything to attract girls. If they like you, they like you. Is what it is. I want that to be a takeaway from this video we just watched. You cannot buy attraction. These are quite nice.
How can somebody become a millionaire in 2024?
Three things about money. And trust me, you will make a ton of money. I make a lot of money. Number one, the people in the business of money make money. Don't ever forget that. Anytime wealth is transferred from one hand to the other, somebody is in the middle that is helping to transfer the wealth. Whoever that person is also becomes wealthy.
His first point is quite true. He's basically saying you want to be some sort of advisor. So you take a cut of people's assets, which is more or less the same scheme or the same incentive structure for hedge fund managers, asset managers. They manage assets, right? They have assets under custody and they get paid 2, 3, 4, 5% of this asset under custody. Very simplified version.
To own a business. I don't care what anybody says, because there are 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you're sleeping, 8 hours you're working, how much hours you have left. It doesn't matter how hard working you are, you're never going to make $1 million just doing a job.
I completely agree with him, like completely. With most jobs, you're not going to see £1 million, 100%. I would say maybe 3 or 4 jobs can give you that potential. Banking later on, hedge fund manager, yes, some guys in tech, some doctors that are private, some lawyers, but most people, to become very successful, and in fact, I would say to become wealthy, you have to own a business. You must be providing a solution to loads of different people. That way, there is economies of scale, and you can reach and sell to more people. That's the only effing way to be successful or to be wealthy. You can be comfortable with a day job. I'm quite comfortable with my job. Like, yeah, 6 figures is fine, but to get to that 1 mil, you need to have a business. It's that plain and simple. Like, it's facts. That's 100% accurate. Most professions, you will not see $1 million. I promise you.
thing. It is harder to go from $0 to $100,000. I just want you to know that. Than to go from 100 to 1,000,000. The moment you make your 6 figures, you're gonna have to multiply yourself and your efforts because you alone can't do it.
You gotta learn how to delegate pretty much.
You have to learn how to delegate, and that will blow your income.
Did you go to college?
Yes, I did. If I'm to do it again,
100%. So once you get to like 100K, you have to learn that, okay, what are my strengths and my weaknesses, and what can I delegate to other people? Because at that point, time is money. The saying is cliche, but time is money. I don't edit my finance videos. Daily life, I do it myself because I enjoy it. Some of the finance stuff, or most of it, I don't edit it myself because time is money. The time I'll spend editing, I could be recording this. The time I'll spend editing, I could be sending out a plan to someone else. So time is money.
do it again, I won't go to college. You go to school, they teach you all this stuff, but they're all theories and books. You go on the street, it means nothing. The guy on the street will run circles around you and eat your lunch.
What's the deepest life quote that you've ever heard?
The point you just made, I covered that in the last IBD Q&A series, episode 4. Go watch that right here. As far as I'm concerned, if you want to go to university, that's fine. But only go to university if the degree you want to study is, number one, needed by society, so doctor, engineer, stuff like that, or the degree you study will give you a chance to land a job that pays very well. So you can study finance, be an investment banker, study law, become a lawyer. If the degree you study doesn't allow you or give you the chance to get a high-paying job, it doesn't make sense to take on debt to go to university just to study a subject you find interesting. I promise you, it makes zero sense, logically speaking.
What was the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
You know, I was very lucky because, as I told you earlier, I started washing cars and boats for very wealthy people. And what I found is the wealthier the people, the more they wanted to help me as a young kid. And maybe they saw a part of themselves in me and they wanted to give me that value. And what they were telling me back then, which is even more relevant today, is don't count other people's money. And so many people are looking at other people and they're seeing things that really aren't real. People get so caught up in what other people have and keeping up with the Joneses, and they're buying things and spending money on things they really can't afford. So much of what the young generation sees today all over the place
is fake.
You start comparing yourself to other people, there's always going to be someone richer, there's always going to be someone faking it more. It'll make you feel insecure because you're going to go right now. I could go with you on Instagram and show you 1,000 kids that look like.
It's so real. You accept and you become at peace when you realize there's always someone better than you. There's someone more jacked than me, that's natural. There's someone smarter than me. There's someone taller than me. There's someone smarter than me. There's someone that's better than me in everything. And once you realize that, you just become at ease because then there's no weird pressure that you must live up to the lifestyle you see portrayed online. I don't really care. I know where I started. I know where I'm going.
Look like they're doing great. And it could make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
Worry about yourself. Go at your own pace and it'll work out fine.
Yeah, literally.
Beautiful answer.